All right, everybody's got perhaps an embarrassing moment, and I know with that long and illustrious career that you had, there might be one or two that you could share with us.
Well, there are, and it dates back to my my Montreal days again when I first started, because they were, I wouldn't say they were hard on rookies, but they were they were always trying to pull some jokes and with young guys and see if they couldn't embarrass them a little bit. And Guy Lapointe was a Hall of Fame defenseman who was a great player, but he was kind of the jokester. He had a lot of fun being around him, but he got me a couple times. And one day I was a little bit late for practice, and normally if a guy was late, their skate laces would be cut and equipment would be cut, so it would hinder him from getting dressed quickly, and he might be late getting on the ice. So this particular day there was some bad weather and I was a little late, and I was getting dressed and I noticed that nothing on my equipment had been cut, and I thought these guys must really like me, until it was about 10 or 15 minutes into practice when I started to sweat and get a little heated up. I knew then that they'd put hot stuff in my inner jock.
Oh.
So, and they were watching me very closely, and at that point it triggered, and I knew what was going on now. And the harder you worked and the faster you skated and the more you would sweat, the worse it would get. And so it got to an embarrassing moment where they were all laughing, and I had to ask the coach if I could go off the ice and change. So that was an embarrassing moment. And he got me one other time too. I scored my first NHL goal in St. Louis, and we were flying back. We flew commercial in those days, and we were flying back to Montreal the next day, so we were staying over in St. Louis. And they had me believing that there was a 1 o'clock curfew, and everyone was talking about the 1 o'clock curfew. And they said, come on, Keith, Woody, let's go out and we'll celebrate your first goal. So we were around the corner, and there was 7 or 8 of us, and these guys were buying some drinks and a few beers, and it got to be 1:45, and I'm going, come on, we got to go, guys, we got a curfew. I'm not missing curfew. They go, oh, don't worry about the curfew. We'll get you in the hotel. Don't worry about it. So about 1:30, they're taking me over the back wall to the hotel and getting up to the 2nd level so we don't have to go through the lobby. And I finally made it to my bed, and I was relieved. I said, I missed curfew, but I didn't get caught. The next morning we get to the airport, we get to the terminal, and Guy Lapointe comes over to me, and I was a 3rd-year pro. They didn't have to put you through waivers to send you down. And he comes over to me and goes, oh, Keith, I'm so sorry. He said, so sorry they caught us. They know we were out, and there's nothing they can do to us, but I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. You're just starting your career. When we get off the plane in Montreal, management's going to tell you they're sending you to Halifax to the minors for missing the curfew. So now I'm just worried the whole flight from St. Louis back to Montreal. I'm sweating. They're watching me on the plane, and I'm just devastated. I'm just getting started. I think I'm establishing myself, and I missed a curfew, and now. So we get back to fly into Montreal. We land, and I'm so upset, and they know it, and we're getting our bags at the terminal, and I'm trying to hide from coaches and management. And I finally see coaches and management. They get their luggage, and they go out the doors, and they're gone from the airport. And I look over, and they're all watching me, and they all start laughing, and then I knew that they'd played a joke on me again. So they were good at that and keeping guys honest, and they had a lot of fun. So those are 2 embarrassing moments for me.
Well, I remember Guy Lapointe, who, of course, by the way, is now with the Minnesota Wild as one of their chief scouts, and he was the prankster on the hockey club in those days, yeah, without a doubt. Well, you mentioned your nickname Woody. How did that all come about?
Well, that started, it's funny how nicknames get started, but when I started in Halifax with Montreal's farm team, the Voyageurs, there was a defenseman down there. His name was Jerome Engel, and he was a hard-nosed defenseman that could, and in those days the hockey, the WHA was just ending, and there wasn't any rules as far as fighting, and there was a lot of fighting and brawling, and which wasn't great for the game, but that's the way it was back then, and it was really hard-nosed, and he took me aside, and I didn't shave every day, and I had this kind of plaid jacket, and he started calling me the woodsman, and because of that, and then he talked to me about the fact that you better start learning to protect yourself with the hockey stick, and it was a wood stick, and he was teaching me the techniques on how to, if you had to spear somebody or you had to get it up to cross-check somebody to protect yourself. And So I started to learn how to use the stick to protect myself, and it just evolved from the woodsman to Woody, and it's stuck ever since, and everyone in hockey knows me as Woody.
Absolutely. Well, really enjoyed the visit here today. Welcome to Columbus, welcome to the Blue Jackets. We're all excited to get going, and there's no question that there seems to be a great deal of excitement in the leadership that you'll bring and the teaching abilities. Things are looking up for the hockey club.
Well, thanks, Jeff, and it's great to be reunited with you, and we'll be telling some stories together. And yeah, it's an exciting time for the organization here, and I'm proud to be a part of it, and looking forward to having a lot of success here.
Keith Acton joining us here for our one-on-one presented by Ohio Health. Thanks for joining us here on Jackets TV.